You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show podcast on KPEL965.com.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Breaux Bridge, Lafayette, broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax and Wealth Management Studios.
A calendar coincidence. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. A blasphemous one to some people. Easter Sunday yesterday, March 31st, also happened to have been an international day to recognize transgender people. Fox's Jackie Heinrich outside the White House on a rainy day in D.C.
Although President Biden, who is Catholic and attends Mass every weekend, issued a statement commemorating Easter Sunday, he also issued a statement marking Transgender Day of Visibility. It reads, "Today on Transgender Day of Visibility, I have a simple message to all trans Americans. I see you. You are made in the image of God, and you are worthy of respect and dignity." Republicans sounded off about that and also about an egg decorating contest for the children of National Guard members. A flyer that was promoting the contest said kids' submissions must not include any questionable content, including religious symbols, overtly religious themes, or partisan political statements.
Responding to the criticism over all this, White House spokesperson says, as a Christian who celebrates Easter with family, President Biden stands for bringing people together and upholding the dignity and freedoms of every American. There are new accusations that Russia had something to do with mysterious ailments that struck American diplomats.
US agencies decided last year it was very unlikely a foreign adversary was responsible for so-called Havana syndrome. First reported in Cuba's capital, American diplomats complained of migraines, nausea, memory lapses and dizziness. Now, Russian-focused media group Insider is pointing the finger at Moscow. It says members of a Russian military intelligence sabotage unit could be placed at sites where Americans fell ill, and members of the group received awards for developing non-lethal acoustic weapons. Russia previously denied involvement. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
Police in Baltimore looking for a man who shot 5 people at a restaurant, killing one during Easter brunch. America's listening to Fox News.
Don't let everyday aches and pains keep you from living your best life.
I don't think I really understood what people meant when they talked about pain until I started feeling it myself.
Start feeling better every day with Relief Factor, a daily supplement designed to support your body's fight against aches and pains.
Not only do I move better without pain, I just feel better.
Created by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients that target 4 metabolic pathways to address pain. Relief Factor doesn't just mask aches and pains, it helps reduce or even eliminate them.
Today, I do the things I love, and it doesn't occur to me to think about pain.
You can feel the difference all day, every day.
Join the over 1 million people who have tried Relief Factor's 3-week Quick Start Kit. It's only $19.95 and comes with our Feel Better or Your Money Back guarantee. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800.
Don't forget about Drive Time at 5 p.m. It's me, Joe Cunningham, your 5 o'clock news cruise on The Joe Cunningham Show right here on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Join me for all of the news and commentary you need at the end of your day. Let's wrap up the day strong. You guys can be part of the conversation by calling in or using the KPEL app chat to be part of the conversation. It's not just news you listen to, but news you interact with right here on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Bikers Against Child Abuse empowers children to not feel afraid of the world in which they live. For more information, visit BACAworld.org. Our helpline is 866-885-9474. BACA, breaking the chains of abuse.
This hour of the Moon Griffon Show is brought to you by 1% List Acadiana. Call Shannon LeBlanc today at 337-522-0682. Save on fees, not on service.
The views expressed in the following show are those of the hosts or hosts only. They do not represent News Talk 96.5 KPEL or Town Square Media.
Well. Hey, y'all are welcome. Moon Griffon Show. What a lovely day. Monday, best day of the work week. I got a whole week to get it right, and hopefully we'll get it right at least one day this week. Anyway, great to have you with us. 844-766-6607 is the number. It's a Matthew James Tax and Wealth Management Hotline. Happy Easter. I mean, it was a great day where Christians and Catholics all celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. It was awesome. Not if you're a Joe Biden Catholic, but boy, that's insane. This guy's insane, but it ain't just him, and I'll get to that in a minute. But I did want to tell you, because I was not here on Good Friday, to wish you, hope you had a happy Easter. Hope you got a chance to go attend a church. Thank the good Lord. If he wouldn't have risen, I wouldn't be here, buddy. Wow, unbelievable. His mercy and his grace is awesome. And anyway, by the way, if you didn't hear this, a lot of people have already started to hear it. But 9:32, coming out of that break, after the 9:30 break, we're honored to have Congressman and Speaker of the House Mike Johnson would join us for at least a couple segments, if not more. We'll visit with Congressman, Speaker of the House, right here in the United States of America. Not that Mike Johnson, not the one that lives in Pineville. Mike Johnson, great guy. But that's not the one. Mike Johnson either tells stories how everybody think that's him. But it's not him. It's the Speaker of the House in the United States. And Mike's been on with us 1,000 times. I've been knowing Mike for a while, and Mike has no problem coming here. And I'm glad he decided to come visit with us about this budget, some of the stuff that was in the budget, and why he thinks that it was important for him to do what he did. And I want to give him the opportunity to come talk to us about it. I mean, I say give him the opportunity. He's always welcome. So a lot of people disappointed. I think Mike's felt some heat from it as well, but that's part of the job, unfortunately. But we'll let him explain what's going on, why we doing what we do. And anyway, all that coming out of 9:30. Before I get to all that, folks, let me explain something to you. Joe Biden is a puppet. When it's all said and done, the Democrats are going to say, well, that was just Joe Biden. That was just the way, that was Joe. That wasn't nobody. That was just Joe. It's not just Joe. It's all the Democrats in power believe what Joe Biden believes. Every single one of them. It doesn't matter what name you put on it with the Democrat Party, the Communist Party. This party is a hateful, nasty, filthy party. Everybody knows. You cannot talk to somebody that doesn't feel like Obama is still running this country through Joe Biden. But see, they're going to use Joe Biden and say, that was him, that ain't us. We're not that type of Democrat. Yes, they are. It don't matter who the Democrat is. So Joe Biden, the holiest day of the year for people who believe in Jesus Christ, the holiest day of the year is Easter Sunday. Good Friday's gigantic. But that whole weekend, the focus should be on our Lord and Savior. The whole focus. Until they give a microphone to Joe Biden, and Joe Biden, he's got to tell people it's a trans day of celebration. And then they prohibited children from submitting overly religious art for the Easter egg hunt that they have at the White House every year. So Joe Biden takes the most holiest day of year to come up with some holiday that fell on the same day. I get it. Just happened to fall on the same day. Transgender Day of Visibility on Easter Sunday. And I keep hearing about how he's a devout Catholic. And yet only very few Catholics have spoken against the guy. You know how many Democrats spoke against him? None. Zero. Zilch. Nada. Where's Barack Obama, who claimed he's a big Christian? Of course, he believes there's many ways to get to God. Where's Nancy Pelosi? She's a big Catholic. Where's the Pope? Never mind, forget him. I don't want him to talk. This guy gets up the most holy day of the year, the most special day of the year. Yeah, more than Christmas. We've commercialized that to death. This is it. This is what people celebrate. For him to come out and talk about Transgender Day of Visibility is absolutely a sick puppy. He's nuts. But let me tell you, folks, don't get caught up just on Joe, because Joe, we all know Joe don't know where he's at. But they're going to use, that was Joe. That's not this Democrat and that. Where's Chuck Schumer? What Democrat stood up and said, Joe, you're wrong. Shut up. Because if you people out there are comparing the resurrection of Christ to transgender day of visibility, thinking it's something the same, you've lost your mind. We know Joe's lost his a long time ago. You expect the media to run to the rescue. They ought to be blasting this guy. But really, this, out of the mouth of Joe Biden, is the heart of the Democrat Party. Everybody's got to understand the Democrat Party, what's coming out of Biden's mouth is what they wanted out, because this is what they believe in. I can't believe if you're Catholic, Christian, you're black, white, and you're going to keep voting for the party of filth and hate. When are you going to understand where these people are taking you? This is the most holy day of the year, and this guy's talking about Transgender Day. You ever notice the Democrats, almost everything they do is anti-Christian, anti-Jesus Christ. Put it what it is. It's anti-Christ. You know? Change the definition of marriage. A man can become a boy can become a man, men can have babies. The planet's burning up. Oh, we got to stop it. We got to stop the planet from burning. All that goes against everything you're taught from Christ in the biblical perspective. Well, what Democrats came to the rescue and say, hey, Joe, you're wrong. They get Raphael Warnock, who is the guy out of Georgia. Georgia put two leftist Looney Tunes in the Senate. That's why we don't have the Senate, is because of Georgia. Lefty Looney Tunes said Trump selling Bibles is like the money changers Jesus chased out. But he never said nothing about Joe. And number two, Warnock's the guy, he's a pastor. Warnock's the guy that told us the Bible says abortion is okay. This is the nuts that we got in the Democrat Party. That's blasphemy saying something like that. But that's what Warnock does. He gets on, what is he on, CNN? Yes, CNN, of course. Donald Trump is making his Holy Week by posting video. How do you encourage people to buy a $60 Trump endorsed Bible, listen to what he said? And so Warnock, the Bible does not need Donald Trump's endorsement. And Jesus is the very last week of his life, chased the money changers out of the temple who would have sacrificed things and them cheap relics to be sold in the marketplace. Warnock's crazy, folks. The guy's a Looney Tune nut. I don't care if he claims to be a Christian pastor or not. He preaches race, and that's all he preaches. But why didn't one Democrat challenge Joe Biden in what he did and what he said? Not one. The holiest day of the year, Mr. Catholic. You know, I'm sure Catholics, I talked to them already this morning. God don't represent me, I know. A lot of Catholics going to vote for him. Most Catholic, well, this was told to me, I don't know if this is true, most Catholic president we ever had. Nancy Pelosi gets Speaker of the House, big abortion lady. You know? And not one Democrat came to the rescue of Jesus. Not one. Not one. Not one. And yet the President of the United States, of course, everybody goes, oh, that's just Joe. No, that's Obama. That's Chucky Schumer. That's Nancy Pelosi. That's all of them. And I'll tell you something else. They say stuff like that because it gets me and you riled up. It does. It gets us riled up and they know it. But, man, they love getting us riled up on a day that's the most holy day of the year for most people. I know people that don't go to church except on Easter Sunday. That's it. They going, though, on weekend or Saturday or Friday, when their service is being held. Transgender Day of Visibility. I'd have never thought that. And, boy, my phone was blowing up and people going, can you believe this? Yes, I can. When you mention the Democrat Party to me and the people that represent the Democrat Party, anything you can say to show me they're closer to Satan, I won't argue with because they are. This is sick. This is sick. And we got to realize how sick this country's becoming. It's a spiritual disaster for the United States of America. For this guy to be the president of the United States. By the way, there was one D.C. Archbishop jab Biden as a cafeteria Catholic who picks and chooses for his political advantage. That is one that stood up and said, this is ridiculous. You know, but where are the Democrats? Where are the so-called Catholic or Christian Democrats? Where are they? Why didn't they say something and say a word? You don't ever hear from them, do you? Same thing as communist parties. You never hear nothing from Communist Party. The bosses tell you how to think, how to vote, what to say, what to do, and you stay in line. That's the Democrat Party now. There's no independence in the Democrat Party. There's nobody thinking outside the box in the Democrat Party. And what Joe Biden's saying, he's saying it for the Democrat Party because this is who they are now. But yet people don't realize what they're doing and what they're saying. This is sick. It's a sad. Greatest day of the year, Easter Sunday. Greatest day of the year. And this sicko who claims he's a big Catholic says what he says, and we're going to celebrate Transgender Day of Visibility. The name should have never rolled out of his mouth. But yet, they're going to say, oh, that's just Joe. It's not just Joe. It's not just Joe by a long shot. Let's take a break. 844-766-6607 is the number if you'd like to be part of the program. This is sick. All right, we got to take a break.
It's springtime, and that means garden time here in Louisiana, and Louisiana-owned and operated Stein is where you need to go to get all the great deals on plants and everything else you need for that brand new flower bed you've been wanting to make. Stein has great deals on garden soil, mulch, weed and ant killer, everything you need to lay the groundwork for that brand new flower bed, plus assorted flowers and vegetables in jumbo 6-pack starting at just $2.79. The weather is perfect, and that means you have the opportunity to start bringing those great blossoms into your yard today. Plus, springtime means outdoor cooking, grills, charcoal and propane burners, all of that you need you can find online at steinhome.com. Louisiana-owned and operated, Stein is your place for the gardening and outdoor grilling you need to take advantage of this spring. Check out everything they have to offer online at steinhome.com. That's steinhome.com. Check them out today.
When you think about how you'll spend your money in retirement, what comes to mind? Probably travel, sunny beaches, and spoiling your grandchildren. But a recent survey found that over 30% of every dollar a retiree spends goes to taxes. Baby boomers were told for years to save money in their IRAs and 401ks and pay taxes later. Well, now that day has arrived, and boomers are shocked to see a third of their money going back to Uncle Sam. John Blanchard and the Matthew James Financial Group can help. What if you could protect all or most of your retirement wealth from future tax rate increases? Achieve a zero or near zero effective tax rate for most of your retirement years. Find out more. 337-366-8366. Isn't it time you got a second opinion on your wealth and retirement outlook? Learn how you could potentially kick the IRS out of your IRA. 337-366-8366 and online at MatthewJames.com. Hello, Katie. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607 is the number. It's a Matthew James Tax Wealth Management Hotline. If you'd like to be part of the program, your opportunity to be a voice. Yeah, Warnock truck selling Bibles is like the money changers Jesus chased out. I wonder what he would think of you, Warnock. Abortion. Men can be women. Women can become men. Marriage between two men, two women. I wonder what, if Warnock can tell us about what Jesus would do with people like Trump, what would Jesus do with people like Warnock? I'm just kind of curious. I mean, this guy's going to stand up before God and everything he's preached, and he preaches hate. He's always preached hate. Let's say he gets to be the judge. He's a United States Senator. He's going to say something bad about Trump in the media, especially CNN. By the way, you realize their numbers are going up because all they do is talk about Trump. Their numbers went in the tank in the last 4 years. Now their numbers are coming back up because all they do is talk about Trump. Okay? You know, it's amazing to watch these people who think that these people think they're God. You realize communist leaders think they're God. You realize communist leaders play God to their people. You do what we say. We do what you do. You're going to do it our way. We'll wipe you out. Put you in jail, wipe you off the map. We don't care. This is the way we do things. That's Warnock. That's the Democrat Party. Can't help it. People are going to vote for him. You know? I just wonder, after Biden's awesome comments, why are these Democratic so-called Christians and Catholics, people like Warnock, why didn't he say anything? He didn't say anything about Joe Biden, but boy, he had quick answers about Donald Trump, didn't he? Gavin Newsom, talk about him running for president. Why didn't he say anything? These people are just so evil, folks. They're more interested in transing people than they are letting people know who God is. They're not about changing people's hearts. They want to control you. They want to control everything about you. That's why they want to get rid of guns. That's why they don't want you to make too much money. That's why they want to get rid of gas stoves. That's why they don't want fossil fuels around. You know? That's why they just want to open the border, let people come across. You know, that's a disaster that hasn't even struck yet like it's going to strike. What happens when these people start demanding citizenship and demanding stuff like that? What do you do? How you going to get them out of here once they get in here? I've always wondered, why are you going to do that? By the way, also Biden, the White House prohibited children from submitting overly religious art for Easter egg roll. Biden administration taking flack for prohibiting children and submitting Easter egg featuring religious artwork for the contest. The contest, which is part of the White House annual Easter egg roll, is called Celebrating National Guard Families, but will not allow submission of feature symbols relating to the holiday that Christians celebrate all over the world. On behalf of First Lady Jill Biden and the rest of them, celebrating our military families, children should depict on an egg template a snapshot of their life, a favorite activity, scenery in your state, your military family, and day in your life, etc. The submission must not include any questionable content, religious symbols, overly religious themes, or partisan political statements. So in other words, the most celebrated of the year, most celebrated day of the year. You can't put nothing with Jesus on there. Oh, no. I bet if they'd have put a rainbow symbol on there, it would have been great. They'd put a rainbow symbol on the Easter egg, that'd been super. Don't you put nothing with Jesus on it. Don't you dare. This is the folks, this ain't just Biden. This is the Democrat Party. This is who they are now. Nothing to do with John Kennedy and Bill Clinton. No, this is Obama's party. The guy who said, I'm going to transform America into something it should have never been. And here's the buy. There are people dumb enough to believe that we can break this country down to its knees. We can rebuild it better. Forget about it. Name the country that got beat down, came back bigger and better. It doesn't happen that way. Joe Biden speaks for the Democrats because not one Democrat challenged Joe Biden. Not one Democrat challenged Joe Biden and what he said on Easter Sunday. Not one. Or maybe he said it the day before, whenever he said it this past weekend. Not one. I'm talking none. Ain't that amazing? All right, when we get back, Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson joins us. Looking forward to talking to Mike. We'll be talking to him in just a few minutes. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Hey, folks, this is Moon Griffon. I built my dream home. Start imagining your dream home. And when you do, make sure you call my friends and get in touch with my friends at Schumacher Homes. SchumacherHomes.com, SchumacherHomes.com. When you tour Schumacher model home, you're in control. Stop by during operating hours and tour at your own pace. There's a reason my friends at Schumacher have been building homes for over 30 years. They're committed to making the home building process as enjoyable, simple, and hassle-free as possible. Call them or visit them, SchumacherHomes.com. SchumacherHomes.com to schedule your free, no-obligation design and pricing meeting. Hey, it's an hour or two of your time working on your dream home. And my friends over at Schumacher Homes just announced some exciting news. You can get a mortgage rate as low as 2.875% when you finance with Schumacher Homes. That is 2.875% when you finance with Schumacher Mortgage. Hey, the whole Schumacher team is dedicated to making sure your dream home becomes a reality. SchumacherHomes.com, SchumacherHomes.com. Folks, remember the name All Field Equipment, allfieldequipment.com. When I say All Field, that's ALL Field.com. All Field Equipment, founded in 2016 by my good friend, Mr. Bill Allen, with over 50 years' experience in the oil and gas industry. Hey, this is a great company to do business with. Whether it's production equipment, control valves, controller, glyco pumps, chemical pumps, chokes, Wilden pumps, Barton recorders, All Field has new, rebuilt, and parts. All Field handles some of the industry's top brands such as Norasil, Fisher, and Kimray. On the supply side, All Field has anything from Q-tips to appliances to general All Field supplies. All Field is one of the largest suppliers of bottled water in the Gulf. And remember, All Field never changes transportation. Like the name says, All Field has it all, covering the Architects area and the Gulf of Mexico. All Field Equipment, 337-837-1003, 337-837-1003.
Head over to Champagne's in
the This hour of the Moon Griffon Show is brought to you by 1% List Acadiana. Call Shannon LeBlanc today at 337-522-0682. Save on fees, not on service.
Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. It is 844-766-6607. Matthew James Tax and Wealth Management Hotline. Honored to have Speaker of the House, United States, Congressman Mike Johnson. Mike, how you doing?
Hey, Moon. Doing great. Good to hear your voice, my friend.
Yeah, man. Good to hear you. It's been a while, but I know you. I think you've been busier than me. How about that?
It's been pretty busy, that's for sure.
Well, Mike, let's just jump right into it. We passed the budget a couple weeks ago. I think there was $460 billion, almost $500 billion, and we came back. And I said they'd pass another one. I said y'all would pass another one that would go to the end of the year, and they did to September 30th. And, of course, my phone been getting blowed up, and I've said things, and a lot of people have said stuff. But I guess my big question is, because we all felt by what we know, that it was a horrendous budget, but yet it was passed anyway. And so talk to us about the budget. Talk to us about what's in this budget, because I saw some things in it. I know the Mike Johnson I know would have never voted for some of the stuff that's in this budget.
Yeah, Moon, thanks for teeing it up. Let me explain what's going on here. And by the way, hope you had a blessed Easter. I hope everybody did.
I did.
I'm getting back on the road this morning to go out across the country, as I have been constantly raising money for the team. But I wanted to get on the phone with you this morning and talk this through, because I knew you had some questions. A lot of people did. So what you're referring to is the appropriations process, right? So there are every year the federal government obviously has to be funded. So there's a process that's actually spelled out in the federal law, the 1974 Budget Control Act, that requires Congress to pass 12 separate appropriations bills, right? Each of the 12 sections of the federal government, everything that the federal government does. I mean, from TSA, when you go get on an airplane today and fly somewhere, TSA is there. Our troops have to be paid. So security checks have to go out to people. The Border Patrol agents have to be paid. I mean, all these essential services of the federal government all comes through the appropriations process. So it's a hassle, and it's turned into a debacle, because what's happened over the last 20 years or so is that 1974 law does not apply. There really aren't 12 separate appropriations bills. Instead, Congress is lazy and they don't want to make tough votes, so they push everything to the very end of the fiscal year, which is September 30th, and they pass what everybody knows as a CR, a continuing resolution. and that just patches it up until the end of the fiscal year, the actual year, end of December. And what's happened is, since I've been in Congress for 7 years, every time the Senate jams the House at the very last minute, literally before Christmas Eve, when everybody's trying to go home and be with their families, and they pass an omnibus bill. And that's just a fancy word of saying they take all the spending bills and they lump it into one giant vote. They pass a 4,000 or 5,000 page piece of legislation that Pelosi used to say famously, we'll figure out what's in it after we vote on it, all that stuff. And it spends, over $1.5 trillion or whatever the number is. Everybody votes up or down. Everybody goes home. That's no way to run a railroad, and that's the reason that Congress and the nation is in the debt situation that we're in. I mean, our economy is on the brink with almost $35 trillion in federal debt, and that's because Congress has acted irresponsibly.
But Mike, just stop you right there. Is that not just what you did, or just allowed to happen in the House by not killing the bill?
It's not. Let me explain what happened.
Explain the difference.
Yeah. This is very important for people to understand. So I became Speaker on October 25th of last year, right? The fiscal year, September 30th, had already passed. We were already in a continuing resolution to keep the government funded so it didn't shut down and all these essential services didn't stop. The stagecoach was literally flying off the side of the cliff, and they handed me the reins, right? So I had literally 2 weeks before the continuing resolution expired, and they handed it to me and said, here, go work a miracle. Well, it's not possible to do it in that time, so we had to patch it up with another CR to allow time for us to settle in. Now, instead of just doing a regular CR, a continuing resolution, what I did was we instituted a brand new idea. It's called the laddered CR. What does that mean? Well, we broke the big, massive omnibus bill up. We wanted to break the omnibus fever. That's no way for Congress to run. And I always said, and all conservatives said, if we were in charge, we'd do it differently. So we did. So we split it up into 2 separate packages, 6 bills and 6 bills. At least it broke the omnibus fever. So we went into the beginning of the year with those 2 deadlines looming, February and March, and we had to get the government funded. And so we passed the House. We got it. We kicked it into gear. We passed 8 of the 12 separate appropriations bills and sent them over to the Senate. The Senate sat on them, didn't do anything with them. They only passed 3. So we wound up at the end in what they call a conference committee, where you try to iron out the differences between the bills and finish it all up, and that's what happened. Now, look, the final product is not the bill that Mike Johnson and Moon Griffon would have drafted, right? But here's the reality. Okay, this is what everybody's got to understand. Right now, we have the smallest House majority in U.S. history. To advance any conservative policy preferences, I can only lose 1 vote. Literally, we have a 1-vote margin, okay? And because several House Republicans decided last fall it's now acceptable to block our own procedural rule votes, okay, we can't anymore bring our own preferred legislation to the floor to just pass it with a simple majority. We can't even use our 1-vote majority because instead we have to collect Democrat votes to pass the big must-pass legislation like appropriations. That's what they call suspension vote, a suspension of the rules to bring the vote to the floor, and that requires 2/3 of the body to agree. So there you go, right out of the blocks, because our own team has decided we're going to block our ability to bring our bills to the floor. We have to work with some Democrats or nothing happens, right? So the Democrats who control the White House and the Senate, remember, Biden's the president, Schumer runs the Senate. We only have control of the House and barely have control of that. They know that when we go into the negotiations process, that the House Republicans are not sticking together, okay? So they're on the high ground in negotiation. Man, we worked so hard to build consensus around what we wanted to do, but we couldn't do it because if you just have 1 or 2 people with a different idea, it all falls apart, and that's what happened. So we were pushed to the end. We have to make 2 simple choices. We either fight as hard as we did to advance our policies and preferences in these spending bills, okay, as far as we possibly can, and keep the government open, or we refuse to fund the government and we shut it all down. Now you've heard a lot of conservatives, a lot of my close friends say, shut it down, shut the government down. Okay. Well, that sounds great initially. All right. This is what everybody has to understand. The executive branch holds all the cards, right? The Biden White House can make it extremely painful for the American people in a shutdown. And believe me, they're desperate enough they would do anything because Biden's approval rating is so low. He would immediately, with the help of all the media, of course, blame House Republicans 100% for every ounce of the pain. And you're talking about missed paychecks, canceled flights, unpatrolled border sections, just on and on and on. Everything the federal government does.
But Mike, this is the same thing we've been hearing year after year after year after year about all this stuff that's going to happen, and nothing ever changes. And I know you got thrown in a tough position. I'm not even arguing with you on that. But, Mike, on the flip side, I mean, when they passed the bill and y'all passed the bill, there wasn't a 72-hour rule. I think that was something you wanted. And number two is,
I'll tell you
can you honestly tell me you read everything in the bill? Because if you did, I'm worried. Because some of the stuff that's in this bill that's coming out floors me.
Hang on. I'm going to tell you about all that. But this is what you have to understand, okay? Remember, binary choice, okay? If we don't pass it by 2 Fridays ago, okay, the government shuts down, all right? And you say, well, that's the same. Everybody always says, and there's no pain, nothing happens. But listen, the last time there was a shutdown, Trump was in the White House, okay? Right now, Biden's in the White House in an election year. He's desperate. He's underwater, okay? Remember, all those federal agencies that fund and do all this stuff for everybody's life, they're controlled by the president, not the House, not the Congress, right? So if the government switch turns off, the executive, the president of the United States can make it so painful on everybody immediately because they have total discretion on what to do with the shutdown, okay, how soon the pain starts. And they would amp it up to a 10 immediately. And then the Democrats would have the bully pulpit. They'd have all the legislative leverage because here's the other thing. This is so critical for everybody to understand. In order to get out of a shutdown, okay, we would have to have a 2/3 vote of the House to do it. That means you'd need 80, 90 Democrats to agree on the bill to reopen the government. And that bill, the amount of flesh that we would have to give for them to give in and agree would be the ugliest policy thing you've ever seen. All right. So here's what happened. So because the shutdown would be so terrible, we fought on the appropriations bills. I was hemmed in by the top line spending numbers that my predecessor negotiated. Okay, I inherited all this because I remember I was after the end of the fiscal year. They handed me the reins of the stagecoach going off the cliff, and we got actually some wins on this bill. Okay, nobody's talking about that right now, but remember, 72% of that package that we voted on is defense spending. The 2 Fridays ago, we increased defense spending. Every conservative, every Republican knows why we need to do that. We're got hot wars around the world, around the globe. It's a dangerous time. We kept non-defense discretionary spending flatlined. That's a huge hit to the Democrats. Then we included big victories in it.
Mike,
we got the biggest pay raise for the troops in decades.
You're saying it's a huge hit to the Democrats. You know who was happy about this bill? Democrats, Biden, the media. They're people the ones happy about this bill. Mike, at that night, you're going to have to explain that to me because they're pumped up about it.
No, but they're doing that because they see a Republican division and they're desperate because they're going into an election cycle. But let me tell you something. We got the highest troop pay raises in decades. They didn't want that. Democrats fight against defense spending. We cut nonsense out of the DEI programs in the military. We got $50 million out of their programs. In Department of Homeland Security, we increased the baseline for enforcement for when Trump takes over in January. This is critically important. Trump is not going to have an open border. He's going to stop, detain, and deport these people. But guess what? The Biden administration has shut down a bunch of detaining facilities, right? So in this bill, we included the highest number of ICE detention beds and Border Patrol agents in history. We cut funding by 20% for the NGO, the non-governmental organization.
Who you thought, sir? Only because I got to take this break. Congressman Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House. Yeah, let me take a break. Come back. We visit more with Congressman Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House of the United States. From the humbling beginning, Dino Hardwoods is striving to provide superior service and quality products for their customers. Hey, I know Charles Altman. He does a great job. If you're looking for lumber, Dino Hardwood stocks a large selection of domestic and import hardwood lumber and cypress. You ought to see that stuff. Exotic lumber, they got that as well. Trust in Dino Hardwoods when it comes to your exotic lumber needs right now. Molding, plywood, paint, and L products, they are ready for you. They got 3 great locations. The corporate office is right here in Broussard, Louisiana. There's an office in Shreveport on 2801 Valley View Drive and one in Tyler, Texas, 12492 Highway 155 North. Hey, if you're looking for something different and something new and somebody who will service you, it's Dino Hardwoods. I'm telling you, don't forget Dino Hardwoods. DinoHardwoods.com, DinoHardwoods.com. Great locations. They can service you. They can deliver. DinoHardwoods.com. Check out this great Louisiana company. Folks, you hear me brag about an advertisement. South Star Urgent Care is the name you need to know. Listen, You look up, you're in the middle of the night, you're looking, God, where do we go? South Star Urgent Care. They open on weekends. They open at night. They can get you taken care of. If you're sick, if you're feeling bad, maybe you coughing, dehydrated, fever, flu, fracture, South Star Urgent Care wants to service you, and they're going to treat you like you want to be treated. They're going to get you in, get you out. You're not going to sit in a dark waiting room for a bunch of times. South Star Urgent Care. Go to SouthStarMoon.com, SouthStarMoon.com. You know, you can register before you go and set your appointment. Hey, it's really cool. These folks at South Star greet you with a genuine smile and make you feel very comfortable. Folks, you're looking for the perfect urgent care? It's South Star Urgent Care. Go to SouthStarMoon.com, SouthStarMoon.com. South Star Urgent Care. It's the urgent care you need. Go to SouthStarMoon.com, SouthStarMoon.com.
Quest.
Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607 is the number. Is a Matthew James Tax Wealth Management Hotline. We have Speaker of the House, Congressman Mike Johnson, Louisiana's very own. He is the Speaker of the House, joins us. Mike, I know you were a couple quick questions for you. What about when you pass a bill and you talk about all the good things that are in it, what about all the bad things that are in it? I mean, I saw we spending money on trans underwear, and we spend money on all these universities and all this extra spending, which has nothing to do with keeping the government open. Nothing. I mean, even Louisiana, the media was bragging about $1.2 billion coming here, and I'm going, are we not broke? Congressman, that's why I'm upset about it. I know we're broke, but yet we're spending money like we have it. So what about the bad things in the bill? Is that stuff that, and look, I know you would never put your name on a lot of the stuff that passed. But yet some of this bad stuff is horrible. Absolutely horrible. Yeah. Why give in on that? I'm just curious.
Right. So Moon, this is what I was trying to explain earlier, right? There are some really good things in this bill. Let me tell you a couple more, and then I'll explain that, okay? So we expanded detention beds and agents at the border. That's really important because we got to set up Trump for success to get control of this catastrophe. We banned the funding of the UN agency that with the members that participated in the October 7th attacks on Israel. We stopped the Biden administration from banning gas stoves. They can't fly anything other than the American flag over diplomatic facilities anymore. No more rainbow flags. We stopped them from stripping Second Amendment rights from our veterans. You know, we cut the budgets dramatically of ATF and EPA and the IRS. We rescinded $20 billion in IRS funding. So all these things happen in the bill, but there's a couple of little provisions in there as well. Now, remember, your question's a good one. Why the heck would conservatives allow that? Remember, I have a one-vote margin. So I carved every single Democrat priority out of that bill that we could. But in fact, I was arguing with Chuck Schumer up to 11:57 p.m., right before midnight on the filing deadline of this thing, on the last couple things. There's about 11 earmarks, Senate Democrat earmarks, that made its way into this package. Now, remember, the package overall funds half the government, $1.3 trillion, and includes all of our defense spending, the entire defense budget. Okay, that's 72% of that. All right, but in there's 11 earmarks that everybody's arguing about, and I'm arguing about as well, and those are Senate Democrat earmarks. So some of them went to a handful of community health centers in these big blue cities, right? Well, some of those health centers are friendly to LGBTQ youth, right? They provide a range of services, including like mental health counseling to teens who are struggling with suicide ideation, okay? So shutting the government down over that would obviously have been a political gift to the Democrats. They wanted us. They'd run out and say that Republicans hate,
but Mike, you advance it,
and all this stuff.
But Congressman Mike Johnson, you advancing their leftist strategy by some of the stuff in the bill. Mike, do you think you're there? I'm not. I'm giving you a lot of credit. You there? I'm not. You think this country's broke? I think it was so broke. $35 trillion, going to be $50 trillion in a few years. How does that benefit the American people? Going broke.
Moon,
we're going broke. You know we're going broke. I know you're a smart guy.
Moon, we've been talking about this. You and I have been talking about this for many years, right? I'm a fiscal hawk, right? And we are cutting. As I told you, we cut massive amounts out of the budgets of these federal agencies in this bill. Okay, we rescinded $6 billion in unspent COVID funds, $20 billion from the IRS expansion, all that. All right.
Hold up real quick. I'm just going to stop you for 1 second. You can't tell me we're cutting when we're spending more money. You can't. I just see what I'm saying. I'm trying to be on the same way. You can't cut the money, but we're spending more money, Congress. We're just spending more money.
So Moon, yes, listen. The way this goes down, right, is we have to change the budgeting and spending process. We did that. I mean, it may not seem like it. What we did by breaking that Christmas omnibus fever I was talking about is a huge thing. We broke the back of the Democrats and the way the big government, advocates run things by breaking this up. Now we're switching into fiscal year 2025. The funding for that, we got to beat the September end of year deadline, and we're going to force. But like I was talking about earlier, the 12 separate approach bills, we've already started that. The House Republicans are going to force that. Even though we have the smallest margin in history, we're going to do that anyway because we have to get the spending under control. Is the country broke? Yes. We have a $35 trillion federal debt. I've been a hellhound on this since I got into politics, and you and I have talked about it many times. But we can't change overnight. We can cut as much as we can. Remember, this came down to the end of the year, the end of the deadline. We either had a shutdown or fund it. There's some things in there that we don't like. It's that stuff we were talking about, those earmarks that everybody's upset about. It's 0.0003%.
But Mike, you know how it is, though, Congressman. They get their nose in the tent. It gets bigger. But
Moon, look, this is really important for everybody to understand. The way to fix this is to put our team in charge again, right? I need a bigger majority in the House. At least give me 2 votes, for crying out loud. We got to win the Senate and win the White House in November. We are going to do all 3 of those things. That's what we're on track to do.
But you know what?
If we don't get ourselves mixed up together. Yeah.
Mike, and this is the thing you can't guarantee. I saw us with Trump in the White House, and I saw us have the Senate in the House, and there were some things they accomplished, no doubt about it. But when we needed the Republicans to support something, we always got some that let us down. So you better, if you're still the speaker and Trump wins and we win the Senate, we better have 40 or 50 votes ahead because Republicans continue to let us down. And that's, I think people want exactly you. Right. I think people would have been happier with you, Congressman, in all fairness, had you said enough's enough. We're not doing this. We just have to. We'll have to wait and see.
But Moon, I just told.
I know you told me why.
I just told you what that would mean. Though. Yeah, if the government shut down, okay, and all those terrible things started happening, and the media, of course, is on the other team. They would support the White House. They would remind the American people that when the border's not patrolled, for example, because agents aren't getting their paychecks, and that flood of people coming over, they'll shift the blame from Biden to us. They'll say, look, they wouldn't pay anybody. When your flights are canceled and you can't go, see your family somewhere, they blame that on House Republicans. Moon, we would lose the House majority in the House. We would not win the Senate, and we would not win the White House. If we do not win, if those 3 things don't happen this time, we're going to lose the country. We cannot have liberal Democrats in charge of this government anymore. So these are tough choices right now. Newt Gingrich called me 2 weeks ago, and he said, Mike, Mr. Speaker, the job's impossible now. I said, no, Newt, it's not impossible. He said, I couldn't have done it. I said, yeah, you're Newt Gingrich. You could have done it. He said, no. He said, I had an 18-vote margin. Yours is 1. And he said, and I didn't have social media. He said, if everybody could go online every 2 minutes and tell everybody in the country what they don't like about this or that, I would have never got the contract with America done.
But you do realize every time y'all pass a bill, it's going to make inflation worse because of the printing of money and the selling of the debt. That's a fact. That's. But Mike, nobody is trying to stop that, and that's my.
Absolutely.
Do you have another segment that I could just wrap up with you? One more.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Okay. That way, look, I got about a 7-minute break. Take your break. We'll come back in 6 seconds, just a little bit more. And look, I'm home with you coming on, Congressman Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House. We'll take a break. One more quick segment with Mike Johnson. Line One is a business telecom provider. Line One specializes in cloud-based communication with superior customer service. If you're frustrated with phone bills you can't understand, endless hold time to customer support, and phone system that is not meeting your needs, then you need to go to Line.1 and schedule a free consultation to advance your business phone system. Line One, technology with a human touch. Go to Line.1 and tell them Moon sent you. Again, that is line.1.
Every day, Mark fights retinitis pigmentosa, a blinding retinal disease. But even while his vision is taken, his family gives him hope. Because whether he's helping run their business or enjoying time at home with his wife and sons, Mark knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding diseases, providing real hope to those fighting vision loss. And our nationwide community of local chapters provides networking and support for people with vision loss, as well as their loved ones. Because the best way to fight against blinding diseases is to fight together. And for Mark, winning the fight against vision loss means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Learn more about how you can help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Brobridge, Lafayette, a Town Square media station broadcasting from the Matthew James Financial Studio.
Coincidence, Gianna Gelosi, Fox News. The Biden administration defending issuing a proclamation for Transgender Day of Visibility on its usual date, March 31st, despite falling on Easter this year.
This year's event has also been marked by some controversy after President Biden commemorated Transgender Day of Visibility, which fell this year on Easter Sunday. Easter's date varies because it falls on the first Sunday on or after the spring equinox, but Transgender Day of Visibility has a fixed date. It's been held on March 31st every year since its inception in 2009. Biden issued a White House proclamation and also posted on X, quote, "Today on Transgender Day of Visibility, I have a simple message to all trans Americans. I see you. You are made in the image of God, and you're worthy of respect and dignity." Biden also marked Easter Sunday in a message extending warm wishes to Christians around the world.
That is Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House, where today the Bidens are hosting the annual Easter egg roll. A major update on the wild border riot caught on camera in Texas. An El Paso judge reportedly ordering the release of migrants who were arrested as part of the mob that stormed the border fence and pummeled National Guard members. And the judge is blaming the DA. Fox's Madeline Rivera breaks it down.
The El Paso Times reporting that a presiding magistrate judge accused the district attorney's office of not being ready to proceed with detention hearings for each defendant. On March 21st, a group of migrants tore down razor wire and rushed past Texas National Guards, knocking them to the ground as they ran to the border fencing. The judge reportedly saying all the rioting participation cases will be released on their own recognizance because the DA's office was, quote, not ready to go. It is unclear if the ruling applied only to the riot participation charge and not to the assault and criminal charges related to the border rush.
That's Fox's Madeline Rivera. Another hearing for more defendants is expected today. America's listening to Fox News.
All right, Father's Day, graduation season right around the corner. And if you're looking for a really great, unique gift, you got to check out the personalized receiver covers from my friends at Henry Repeating Arms. Now, they're available for Henry's Golden Boy and Golden Boy Silver rifles, which come in 3 calibers, 22 LR, 22 Magnum, and 17 HMR. Just go to henryusa.com and type in personalized in your search box. Well, there you're going to find a link to the product page with step-by-step instructions. They can engrave any message that you want, up to 20 words, and the process is easy, it's simple, it's affordable, and it doesn't require a gunsmith. Check out Henry's personalized receiver covers if you're looking for a great gift for dads or grads. Make sure you get their free catalog. They mail it with free decals and a list of dealers where you live. That's henryusa.com. You get the free catalog, free decals. They have 200 rifles, shotguns, revolvers to choose from, and you're going to love this company.
Court-appointed special advocates, or CASA, are specially trained volunteers that help secure safe homes for abused and neglected children. Don't let these innocent victims slip through the cracks of our complicated legal system. Get involved today. Call CASA at 268-5111. This nonprofit organization moment brought to you by News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
It's time to win cash. Get your KPEL News apps ready because here's your chance to win up to $30,000. Just enter the following code into your KPEL News app where it says win cash, and make sure you listen for more codes throughout the day because the more codes you enter, the better your chances. Here is your next code.
Your Win Cash code for the 10 o'clock hour is 288. That's 288.
The views expressed in the following show are those of the hosts or hosts only. They do not represent News Talk 96.5 KPEL or Town Square Media.
Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you back with us. 844-766-6607 is the number. It's a Matthew James Tax Wealth Management Hotline. It's honored to have Congressman Mike Johnson. Of course, he is the Speaker of the House of the great United States of America. Mike, just a few more things. I'm going to let you get out of here. And I appreciate your time. I really do. You're always welcome. I always tell people, agree or disagree with the good-looking host. You're always welcome. A couple other big things that just concerns me. And when I'm talking to you, Mike, I'm talking to you because I talk to a lot of people, and they still ask me a lot of the same questions. Mike's the Speaker. Mike could stop this. And I get it with the majority of the vote being real, real close. I understand that more than you probably think I do. But on the flip side, we just felt like sometimes taking a stand is important. And I know there's some things you've always taken a stand on, but one of the things that I don't know if y'all get it. How about that? I'm going to flip it on you. Is that inflation is a devastating booger. And when I watch all these budgets that come out, and I know for a fact we're not producing this, it's being printed, and our debt's being sold, how do you tell people that are now paying so much for their food and gas and vehicles and everything else, because by spending more money, this is causing a problem back home, Mike. We're going to the grocery store. It just is causing a problem. And me and you've talked about cheap energy, cheap food is why one of the reasons America's been great. But that ain't happening right now. And spending more money at the congressional level is not helping that at all. So when you say we cutting and stuff, I kind of laugh a little bit, because if we were cutting, the inflation wouldn't be hitting so hard, and I think this is really going to be the devastation of the United States of America, and it's coming from government spending. Now, how do you answer that when I throw something at you?
It is. No, it's a very important question, right? We're struggling. Look, everybody in Louisiana is struggling. Kelly and I have 4 kids. 3 of them are in school, higher ed. I mean, the costs are out of control. The average American family of 4 is having to spend $11,400 more annually right now just to maintain the same.
I know, but y'all not helping that, Mike. Y'all not helping that.
No, but wait, you got to let me answer. You got to let me answer, okay? The reason for that is because the Democrats are in charge of the White House and the Senate. They believe in modern monetary theory. To your point, they believe we can just print money in perpetuity. That's not reality. Inflation sets in. Remember just 3 years ago, they were telling us inflation was transitory. Remember that? Janet Yellen and all the Biden officials, don't worry about that. Well, now the chickens come home to roost. So Republicans, all of us, every single Republican is fiercely committed to cutting government spending and getting it under control. How can we do that? Well, by both things. You cut taxes, you cut regulations, and you boost the economy. You got to have growth at the same time that you're having cuts. Now, here's the 2 critical things you can never forget. Remember that all this fight and all the stuff we talked about for the last half hour with the spending bills, that's only a small percentage. That's less than a quarter of the federal spending. That's the discretionary spending, defense plus the other programs. Everything else is entitlement spending. Social Security, Medicare, SNAP benefits, the stuff that's on autopilot that Congress doesn't even touch, right? So all of that is part of the picture, and the reason that the costs are so high, the reason the debt's so high is because you have irresponsible Democrats in charge. The solution is to put Trump back in the White House and give us the Senate and the House. And this is what we're going to do, dramatically reform the budget and spending process. Here's one thing. This is specific, okay? Never been done, not in the modern era. We want to authorize the spending before we appropriate it. What does that mean? You got agencies on autopilot, too. They're supposed to be reauthorized before the spending is done, and Congress hasn't done that in a long time. We're going to institute that reform. Look, it takes 3 miles to turn an aircraft carrier, okay? I got the reins 5 months ago in the middle of the biggest fiscal crisis the country had faced since World War II, okay? The debt is higher now than is World War II. We're going to spend more on interest on the federal debt than we do on the entire defense spending budget going forward. We have to change it. We have a plan to do it. The actual appropriations process that we talked about a little while ago breaks the omnibus tradition of one massive spending bill at Christmas And that results in reduced spending. We're going to do that. We're going to extend and expand the Trump tax cuts and the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that we passed in 2019. That helps middle-class businesses, middle-class families, entrepreneurs, job creators, innovators. We're going to stop the madness at the border and get crime under control. We just impeached Secretary Mayorkas. We're sending that over to the Senate the day we get back in a week. I'm sending it to Chuck Schumer for a trial. We're releasing January 6 tapes. We're doing the things that the American people want us to do with the slimmest majority ever. Look, I'm going to say this. The only thing that can snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory for us, we're going to win this November, is if Republicans don't stick together. If we stay united, we have more leverage over Chuck Schumer and Joe Biden, and we can get to the secure border, more American energy, confronting China, rebuilding our military. It'll be the best era for conservatives ever. We're going through a valley right now, but it is much brighter on the other side. We just got to get to November, and we can't get here soon enough.
Mike, I'm speaking for me, but I think I speak for a lot of people. When you got to Speaker of the House, I love it. I still want you to be Speaker. I do not think they ought to remove Mike Johnson. Let's just make sure you hear that out of my mouth. That's not what I want to happen. I don't. Yeah. I want you to be the Speaker. I want Donald Trump to be the president. I want to win the Senate. I want all that to happen. But we just look at this, I guess, from different set of eyes. I'm not up there. And I look at a big, gigantic picture. And what's being done with money and spending. I talked to bankers. I've had bankers on. I even had your good friend, Dr. Kevin Roberts, on the other day. And he was disappointed. I'm not going to put any words in his mouth, but he was disappointed in that new budget bill that just passed. He was really disappointed. And by the way, we talked about Mike Johnson a little bit because we both got a lot of respect for you. But he was disappointed that, and he's there. He's in D.C. He's got a better perspective than I'm going to have it sitting in Lafayette, Louisiana. But I know this, to keep doing the same thing we're doing spending, there's no way it ends good, and it's going to be on all y'all hands. And that's what bothers me. I know, Mike, you've explained it, that's the smallest margin. I get it. I understand that before you ever got on the program. But sooner or later, somebody's going to have to stand up and say enough's enough. We got to stop it, and I'm going to do it again. That's what we were looking for, Mike. I guess that's what we were looking for.
Moon, that's what I'm looking for. That is the plan. But to do what you just said, everybody's got to remember this. We can jump up and down and scream, but to actually change it, we have to have control of both chambers of Congress. Because we passed a ton of awesome legislation, man. H.R. 1 was the cutting energy costs and increasing American energy dominance. We sent it over to the Senate a year ago. It's sitting on Chuck Schumer's desk collecting dust. H.R. 2 would have shut the border down, got this catastrophe under control, sitting on Chuck Schumer's desk. Just go down the list. All the legislation we passed gets stopped in the Senate cold. They just ignore it. So in order to accomplish what you and I have wanted for our entire lives, we got to get Trump back in the White House, win the Senate and the House. I think we can. I'm talking to Donald Trump about this, President Trump, constantly. I mean, in person, on the phone, we're talking about all this agenda and what he's aiming to do. But he's got to have, when he goes in to do this, he's got to have our margins in the House and Senate as well. We can do that. We're on track to do it because the American people are so frustrated. They're going to give us a chance, but we got to keep everybody together to get to that point.
And it's amazing, though, the same thing you said we've been saying once we got it, turncoat Republicans. And that's what worries me a little bit. If we get it and have Mike, I'll fight this in the state. We had all these Republicans for the last 4 years, and it just didn't happen. And I want it to happen. And I want you to be the Speaker, and I want Trump to win the presidency. They don't want to change some of the stuff we're doing. Do we ever stop spending money on all this green, crazy stuff? Do we ever stop that and pull it out of a budget? Because that is the most insane. That is insanity at the highest level. Yeah, that's insanity at the highest level. And I don't care who's getting money from it and they don't get any more. That's their problem. They should have thought about that before they took it.
Absolutely. That's just common sense. It's all madness based on our crazy premises, and it's destroying the country, destroying our economy, and they're doing some of that intentionally. You know, the greenhouse gas emission nonsense and the electric vehicle mandates and all this stuff. We could spend hours talking about it. But you put Republicans in charge of both houses of Congress, and you put Trump in the White House, we'll cut that stuff out aggressively in the very beginning, in addition to everything else. And this is not theory. Everybody can compare what we had in 2019, 2020, prior to COVID, and what you have now. We had achieved the greatest economy in the history of the world. Why? Because Donald Trump was president. We were in the House. We advanced the agenda. Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, regulatory reform. That got the American economy humming. We had peace, relative peace around the world because we were projecting strength on the world stage. All those things can happen again. These are policy choices by the Democrats that put us in this terrible situation we're in, and policy choices that will get us out of it. But you got to put the right people in charge. Look, the state legislature is a great example, right? Everybody worked hard, and we got a supermajority of Republicans in both chambers now, and we got Jeff Landry in the governor's office. Look, nothing's perfect, but they're doing some real transformational change. They're doing some big things in Baton Rouge, and that's what can happen in Congress as well. But we have an agenda that's so aggressive. You're going to see an immediate change, remember, Donald Trump got burned his first term. I was there. He and I came in together in 2017 to Washington, and he didn't really understand how it all worked. He realized real quickly that the agencies were working against his agenda. The people that are under his branch of the government were actually working against him, the deep state bureaucrats. So we have a plan to change that, too. I mean, we've got a very methodical playbook to go through. Kevin Roberts at Heritage and all them, everybody's working on all this together. But we got to get to November. And January starts the new Congress. We're going to lay out this vision for the American people. We're going to draw the contrast between our side and our vision and what the Democrats are doing and what they're for. And I think the American people are going to make the right choice. And we can save this republic. That is our mission.
I'll let you go just a quick. I know you can't answer this quick, but I'm just going to throw it at you. Like, funding of Ukraine, is that really important to the sovereignty of the United States of America? I'm just I know you can't give a quick answer, but just quick as you can.
Well, I'll give you the quickest answer there is. The thing about Ukraine is, look, we can't be spending money all around the country. We're not the world's piggy bank because of the debt situation we have. But there's a couple of key investments that are critical. You cannot allow Vladimir Putin to prevail in Ukraine. Why? Very simply, he wouldn't stop there. He would go probably to the Balkans next. I mean, he's a madman, head of state. I mean, they want to rebuild the great Russian Empire. And here's the problem, Moon. They go to the next country, one of the neighboring countries of Ukraine, then you're stepping onto a NATO country area, right? The problem with that is we have an agreement with NATO that you get American boots on the ground at that point, right? I mean, you're talking about a serious investment of American blood, not just treasure. So if most conservatives understand the necessity, if you send lethal aid, that's different than humanitarian aid, and that is the weapon systems that they need. And then if you add in things like the Repo Act, which means you use the seized assets of Russian oligarchs to fund the effort, that's a smart thing. If you do it in the form of a loan, President Trump and I have been talking a lot about this, a loan where Ukraine and other countries have to pay us back when they can. You put in additional sanctions on Putin. You add in energy exports, LNG exports out of Louisiana, for example. Here's one of the best things we can do to take down Putin's war machine because he's selling gas to European countries out of their necessity, and that's what's fueling his war engines. We can stop that. So you add some of these other measures in, it's a very different matter than just, sending an ATM machine across to Europe, right? You've got to be smart about how you invest. You got to have accountability about that. If you do it that way, it's not a bad investment for us because you can stop Russia, you can prevent the loss of American blood and treasure and troops, and you can keep the world order, and that's what's really, really important right now.
His name is Congressman Mike Johnson. He is our speaker. Hey, Mike, you're welcome back anytime. I normally don't bother you, but thanks for coming and talk to us.
You're a longtime friend, brother. I appreciate what you're doing. Keep it up.
All right. Congressman Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, right in the United States of America. When we get back, your calls are welcome. 844-766-6607. Matthew James Tax Wealth Management Hotline. Be right back. Line One is a business telecom provider. Line One specializes in cloud-based communication with superior customer service. If you're frustrated with phone bills you can't understand, endless hold time to customer support, and phone system that is not meeting your needs, then you need to go to Line.1 and schedule a free consultation to advance your business phone system. Line One, technology with a human touch. Go to Line.1 and tell them Moon sent you. Again, that is Line.1. Oh, Shucks, you've been hearing me brag about Shucks. Been going there for many, many years. Shucks does a great job. If you like seafood, you got to go to Shucks in Abbeville. I'm telling you right now, there's shrimp, there's oysters, there's fish, all fresh every day right off the boat. So if you want something fresh and you want fresh seafood, you got to go to Shucks. Don't forget, if you're having a party, call Shucks. Let them cater the event for you, or you can go pick it up. Shucks, they're waiting on you. If you want a great time and you want great food, you got to go to Shucks in Abbeville. Shucks. Oh, They're good. Folks, I want to tell you about one of my new advertisers, Adapt Concepts AC Service Repairs. Serving all of Acadiana, surrounding areas, and the Gulf of Mexico for over 6 years. Full-service AC and heating company, repairs, installation, and preventive maintenance, which is very, very important. Installation service, professional quality services, focus on creating value for you. Terms of certified technician, 24/7 customer service, and free consultation. I'm talking Adapt Concepts, AC service repairs. You want the professionals, you want the best, this is them. Purchase a qualified high-efficient system for maintenance, plus get a free 12-year parts and labor warranty. Wow, don't you want to know about that? Call them at 337-408-8202. That's 337-408-8202. Or go to the website, adapt-ac.com. That's adapt-ac.com.
Craig Morrell.
Hello, welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. What a day, what a day. 844-766-6607 is the number. It's a Matthew James Tax and Wealth Management Hotline. We just visited, actually, for about 3 segments with Congressman Mike Johnson, our speaker. You're welcome to comment on it if you want to. Somebody wrote, I laugh at people like this. I'm sure the guy's a nice guy. He writes, Moon, I usually enjoy listening to your program, but you are not listening to the speaker. Johnson was saying, he kept harping on inflation, and he would tell you how the thread could go through the needle. You came across more like Rachel Maddow than Moon Griffon, and you need to go back and listen. Well, I ain't going back and listen. I know Mike. I've had communication with Mike through the weekend. I want Mike to stay the speaker. I love him to death. Harping on inflation. Well, one day, I'm not going to mention the guy's name. When inflation continues to skyrocket and you get punched in the mouth like the rest of us are getting, and you can't afford for something, and come back and tell me I'm harping on inflation. That's what everybody ought to be harping on, because then quit spending money. Inflation will not do what it's doing. And Rachel Maddow, Jesus, help me, Lord. Do I need some help? Woo! Rachel Maddow. I was very fair and honest and allowed Mike to speak. I've always done that with him. I don't necessarily agree with everything Mike said, but that's another story. You can agree with what you want to. I know there's a really tight thread and really tight to walk the line. I don't want Mike to be thrown out as Speaker of the House. Rachel Maddow, that's hilarious. But you know, we it's just the way that the government and the president, a guy who on Easter Sunday, the most holy day of the year, he wants to celebrate transgenders, is a sick puppy, and so he's going to be sick when it comes to money and sick when it comes to the Green New Deal and sick about everything. And that's what the Democrats are doing. I know that, but I think when people elect people like Mike Johnson, these Republicans, a lot of people are electing people for them to be tough and to stop some of the craziness that's going on. You know? Once again, it gets tight. We got Republicans bailing out. Leaving left and right. They're just not tough. Democrats are like communists. You're going to do what we say, you get in here, and they got their agenda. But that's not what happens with Republicans. Let me take a phone call real quick before we take the break. Let's go to Jeff in Lake Charles. Jeff, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Moon. And I was driving. I couldn't call in during that time for a question for Mike, but I understand there's a bill coming up about Ukraine. And I said, you know, and he gave the excuse about, they're going to take over Ukraine and they're going to confront NATO. I understand there's boots on the ground now there, but my point was they could not they audited the operation over there, and they can't find $2 billion. And then we want to appropriate more money to a country that was number one on the list for corruption, nefarious things. And we're just going down this rabbit hole that says we got to keep pouring money in there for this whatever reason. I just cannot, not to mention the population over there is dwindling. We're just annihilating the Ukrainians. If we're prolonging this war, and they're running out of people to go to the front lines. That would be an interesting question to ask.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. But,
anyway, that was my. Yeah, I just wanted to think that he had some kind of answer for that, because I just can't see putting any more money into Ukraine. I really can't.
I didn't have enough time to. Well, I had plenty of time to ask him. I just saved it toward the end. And that's why I asked him. I just wanted to kind of get his take on what we're doing. So he likes strategic investments, not investment, doing it strategically is what I got from that.
Right.
Anyway, all right. Look, appreciate the call. We got to go.
Right.
You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. We'll take a break. Be right back.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. It's termite season. Did you know termites are responsible for over $1 billion worth of damage in Louisiana alone? For over 60 years, J&J Exterminating has been shielding homes and businesses. 100% guaranteed against termites, pests, and mosquitoes. Louisiana-owned, customer-focused. J&J Exterminating.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating.
Get the shield.
Yeah. Spring is here, and if you love seafood like I do, you need Ragin' Cajun, the original Cajun seasoning, and Ragin' Cajun's delicious seafood dinners like etouffee, Creole sauce, shrimp and grits, seafood bisque, gumbo, and roux. All Ragin' Cajun products are made right here in Acadiana. Folks, trust me, they are good. Ask for the Ragin' Cajun and all your favorite grocery stores today. Ragin' Cajun, the original Cajun seasoning. Ask them for the Ragin' Cajun. Oh, man, I love me some Superior Grill. Superior Grill, the best Mexican food in the state of Louisiana, bar none, baby. They are the best, and you're going to love them, too. They got great drinks and food, and the atmosphere is second to none. They know what they're doing. They know how to serve. Hey, folks, you do know they cater. They do cater. Superior Grill, located in New Orleans, Shreveport, and Baton Rouge, Lafayette right around the corner. You're going to love Superior Grill. You're going to love the atmosphere. You're going to love the taste. They can handle anything you got. Folks, they got happy hours. They really serve the people. And you're going to love Superior Grill. I love it. You're going to love it. I cannot wait to go to Superior Grill. I've been going to Superior Grill now for 29 years. Let me tell you, I know all about Superior Grill. And I want good Mexican food. I'm going to Superior Grill. I want to see you there. We're going to have a blast. When you think about how...
This hour brought to you by Matthew James Tax and Wealth Management. Online at MatthewJames.com.
Hello, welcome back. What a day, what a day. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607 is the number if you'd like to be part of the program. It is a Matthew James Tax Wealth Management Hotline. All right, let's take some calls. I think we got Leonard in Lafayette first. Leonard, welcome to the Moon Griffon Show.
Hey, Moon. Thank you for having me. That was one of the best interviews I've heard in so long. I just got to voice an opinion. Speaker Johnson gave the best defense of his actions that I've ever heard a Republican give before. I know you hammered him and you pushed and everything that you've been saying.
I try to squeeze him a little bit, but I wasn't trying to squeeze him ugly. I just wanted to get the answers, and so that's all I did.
Oh, no, that was perfect. That interview needs to be replayed nationally. He gave the best defense, and he is so enlightened as to a direction that he feels he can head the Congress. I'm just impressed. I stayed and listened to the entire thing. Didn't want to miss a minute. That needs to be replayed on your buddy's show at 12 o'clock nationally.
So you don't
Pretty
think?
awesome.
So you don't think? You don't think I should be compared to Rachel Maddow?
Not even close. No, you hammered the points we all want to hear. He gave the answers as best he can. I think his 0.03% of the budget defense is not perfect, but it's good.
Well, how about this?
How
About this, Leonard? It's an answer. You know, it's an answer.
It's an answer. Yeah,
I can't argue about that.
The best defense is listening to him talk. He is voicing an opinion. He has a direction. We've got to get some things done in the election. If we don't fall apart, I think it's heading that direction. My wife thinks something different, but she thinks she thinks it's going to fall apart on the.
I hope not. I tell you what, I love. I love the Lord. I love our country, and I would sure love to see this thing turn back around and we get out of this new way of living like Obama taught us. And then you had COVID.
Yeah, I'm a business owner in Lafayette, and I need all those things to happen.
Me too.
Small business is getting crushed by insurance, taxes,
inflation.
You know, the interest rate. I'm paying 12% interest on inventory for a dealership. It's just
Leonard, how about inflation? Just the simple cost of inflation is worse than some of the stuff you just mentioned.
Yeah, inflation and everything I'm selling has gone up 35, 40% in the last 3 years. So it's just killing us across the board.
Well, hang in there, sir.
I am in his corner. I had never heard him speak at length.
Yeah.
And I am so in his corner right now. I got to tell you that. Thank you for that interview.
All right, Leonard.
And thank you for pressing him.
By the way, we're going to have this. This will be on my podcast, I'm sure, later in the program. I know Joe's writing articles and stuff, so there'll be more out there for you to listen to if you want to. But listen, thank you. I'm humbled that you listen. Thanks for staying with the program.
Thank you for pushing him to the limits and him holding up.
All right. Thank you, sir. God bless. All right. Let's go to the phone lines. Go to Shreveport next. We'll go to Joe. Joe, welcome to the Moon Griffon Show.
Moon, thank you for taking my call. Again, I'll piggyback slightly on what he just said. A great interview, but I'm 180 degrees out from him. I'm pissed. I am sick and tired of politicians. You know, we don't have any statesmen. We can't find any. And, you know, Mike represents me up here, and, man, it's just I'm just sick of this. You know, we want somebody to just hold the line. I don't give a flying monkey's butt about what the politicians say or do, or the media, what they're going to feed him. And, you know, it just sounds like he bought into it, and I'm just frustrated.
Well, like I told you, I love him to death. I want him to stay the speaker. But remember, we heard, I'm not throwing this on Mike because this is when Mike was just coming in, but we heard we can get Trump in. No, first we heard we can get the House. We got the House. We get the Senate. We got the Senate. Well, we got to have the president. We got the presidency, the Senate, and the House. And you had the John McCains and people like that really cost us. And then you got Republicans because they made up this deal that Trump colluded with Russia, which we know that wasn't true. We had Republicans bailing out left and right. You remember that, Joe? They were bailing out left and right.
Yes, sir.
By the way, a lot of them bailing out now, too, and I don't understand it. We got Lisa Murkowski in the Senate. Now, remember, they got 51 Democrats, 49 Republicans. Murkowski hates Trump with a passion and already said she may leave the party. Well, if Trump wins, she's leaving the party. So now you got to come up with about 3 to 5 senators on the Republican side to take that back because you cannot count on Lisa Murkowski. That's a fact. So it's still problems out there. The landmines are all over the place.
We know we'll never have some of these never-Trumpers. We know we'll never have the media. Very limited with folks like you and Dan Bongino and a lot of those other good folks that are what they'll call out on the fringe. But look, if we don't make a stand now, when are we going to make one? Because we've been hearing it year after year after year. Just like you said, we need this, we need that, we need this. Then we'll be able to do whatever we want to do, and it never comes to fruition. And I'm sick and tired of it. And I'm sure there's a lot of other folks out there like that, but Mike, I love him to death. I'll vote for him tomorrow. I don't know if this next go around that he comes, what's going to happen, because he's got to do something different than what McCarty did. I don't want to hear about, we got this, we got that. We gave up too much. We always cash in our chips because we believe what the media tells us. We believe what the Democrats tell us is what's going to happen if we don't. And it's been like a monkey spanking a skunk. I done had all the fun I can stand.
I understand. All right, Joe, got to go. God bless. Appreciate the call. Let's move on. We'll go to Maurice, Louisiana. Alfred, welcome to the Moon Griffon Show.
Hello, Moon. How are you doing today?
Doing fine, sir.
Kind of want to piggyback on the last caller. What I heard was a typical Republican. We heard him before he was there. Oh, we're going to fight for this. We're going to stop this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. Now, all of a sudden, we can't do all that. We can't do it yet. You have to give me this. You have to give me that. But the promises were made way back when. Promises were not kept. When I was in the Marine Corps and they said, hey, we're going to hold this hill, we're going to die on this hill, we're going to defend it. That's not what he did. He voted with the Democrats.
Yeah. Well, everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's got a chance to vote when the fall comes. I know this, if the Republicans don't win it all back, we got big problems. Because I'm gonna tell you what, the Democrat Party, yeah, but you gotta give them another chance in the fact that I know what's gonna happen if Republicans and Trump don't win. We in trouble. Matter of fact, we in deep. Even if they win, Alfred, I don't know if we're in trouble.
So we still to that point. We got to vote for the least of two evils. It's discouraging because I can tell you when I joined the Marine Corps and swore to defend, it's not what they're doing right now.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, listen, thanks for the call. I get it. I understand what you're saying. If I was a military veteran and saw what I saw, this ain't the country people fought for. That Biden is mocking Christ on Easter Sunday, mocking Christ with trans stuff on Easter Sunday. The president of the United States, but he's being mocked because that's what Dems do now. They mock anything wholesome and good. All right, we got to take a break. 844-766-6607. Your opportunity to be a voice is now. You can always email me, moon@moongriffon.com. Take a break. Be right back. Bring it to you. If you love seafood like I do, you need Ragin' Cajun, the original Cajun seasoning, and Ragin' Cajun's delicious seafood dinners like etouffee, Creole sauce, shrimp and grits, seafood bisque, gumbo and roux. All Ragin' Cajun products are made right here in Acadiana. Folks, trust me, they are good. Ask for the Ragin' Cajun and all your favorite grocery stores today. Ragin' Cajun, the original Cajun seasoning. Ask them for the Ragin' Cajun.
As Louisiana's only fiberglass manufacturer and fabricator, C-Safe Fiberglass Grading and Structural Systems has provided corrosion-resistant products to the Gulf Coast for over 45 years. Our fiberglass grading, cable trays, and structural shapes are ideal to replace corroded, rotting building products and can be custom fabricated by the best fiberglass craftsmen in the world, right here in Lafayette. Contact C-Safe or visit our website at csafe.com. That's SEA like the ocean, SAFE.com.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. It's termite season. Did you know termites are responsible for over $1 billion worth of damage in Louisiana alone? For over 60 years, J&J Exterminating has been shielding homes and businesses. 100% guaranteed against termites, pests, and mosquitoes. Louisiana-owned, customer-focused. J&J Exterminating.
Call him today, make pests go away. J&J Exterminating.
Get the shield.
Yeah.
For electrical.
Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. The number to be part of the program. It's Matthew James Tax Wealth Management Hotline. If you'd like to be part of it, folks, there'll be arguments on what we should do and what we shouldn't do and what we need to do. And I try to focus on big picture stuff. Some of the little stuff is probably just as important. Like I said, the relationship with Congressman Johnson's always been a good one. I thought I pressured him on the things that I needed to pressure him on. I don't have a question in interview. Sometimes you go back and say, I missed a question. Calling me Rachel Maddow. I might keep that quote. That might be one of the best quotes I've seen, comparing me to Rachel Maddow. Wow. That's pretty good. I mean, somebody's having to reach real deep to compare me to Rachel Maddow. But they did. They compared me to Rachel Maddow. By the way, in some state stuff, House passed a bill to fine employees $50,000 for mandating COVID-19 vaccines. I love it. Hospital, public agencies, other employees in Louisiana could face fines up to $50,000 for mandating COVID-19 vaccine under a bill the State House endorsed 70-31 last Wednesday. House Bill 87, Representative Michael Echols also would bar many employers from enforcing mask mandates as a way to prevent spread of COVID-19, though it lays out exceptions to the rule for hospitals, nursing facilities, prisons, doctors' offices, licensed emergency medical responders. The proposal will still requires approval from the state. Folks, I'm telling you, that's a sin and a shame to make somebody wear a mask from the grocery store that you keep in your truck and you touch all the time to stop a serious virus. Echo says it's a simple swing of the pendulum back to logic and reason based on 3 years of government overreach. Echo said he did not think businesses would see the law itself as government overreach. If the bill passes, the state attorney general's office would investigate complaints about employers who enacted mask and COVID-19 vaccine mandates on the Louisiana employees, even if these employers are headquartered out of the state. State would find small business that violate the ban $10,000, while large businesses and public employees would face $50,000 fines. The bill, one of several filed in COVID-19 aimed at COVID-19 vaccine mandates. Similar bills filed in the past were vetoed under the then Governor Bell Edwards, liberal leftist woke Democrat. They never had a mask mandate. That's the dumbest thing I still ever heard. You say that, Griffin, but I wore my mask and I didn't get sick. I didn't wear my mask and I didn't get sick. But I got to tell you, if I was going to get sick, the mask wasn't going to stop a virus. Man, it scared people. I never said I wouldn't die from COVID. But it ain't going to be because I didn't wear a mask. As earlier version of Echols' proposal, the bill did not ban such mandates, but instead allowed employees to sue their employer from mandating a COVID-19 vaccine if the vaccine result in an injury. So anyway, that's one of the bills. I mean, they're passing a lot of bills at the House. I ran into somebody the other day and they said, man, I know you're not on the legislature. And I said, well, it's always a slow start. Every time I follow sessions, it's a slow start. There's still a lot of time, a lot of bills to come through. I mean, a lot of bills left. Oh, there's some more bills to get to. I got to get to. Vaccine opt-out rate, Louisiana childhood skyrocket. Herd immunity at risk. Experts say. But the experts are saying that, man, get out the way. Man, when experts say something, you got to, folks, get out the way. It's experts. Parents opt out of vaccines for Louisiana's kindergartens, the highest rate in at least a decade, as several new bills to weaken vaccine requirements continue to advance through the Louisiana legislature. You realize that parents could always opt out of vaccines, some of these vaccines that they give. Now think about what I'm getting ready to read to you. They're making a big deal out of this. Now listen to this. Okay? It doubled from 1 year. When 1.1% kindergarten students requested non-medical exemptions. From 2011 to 2017, the average exemption rate was 0.75. Folks, it's not even hardly a percentage. Most people get their vaccines. Oh my God, vaccine. The headlines now. This is Emily Woodruff in the Devil's Advocate. Vaccine opt-out rate for Louisiana children skyrocket. During the 22-23 year, about 2.3% of the children entering school requested exemptions. 2.3%. That's around the double the year before of 1.1%. The only thing people were concerned about with the vaccines, unless somebody had a problem, was only one thing. They didn't want that COVID vaccine in them that was never tested. I mean, this making, oh my God, it jumped up to 2%. Well, and look, they got a chart on it. It looked like, wow, it's way up from 1.1 to 2.3. Well, Moon, that really is a big jump. Okay. All dealt with COVID. Most people are getting vaccines that they were required to get for their children. Some can't do it because of medical. And a percentage of these opted out because of medical stuff dealing with their children that you and me don't know nothing about. Remember, Bell Edwards, the wokest governor we ever had, he wanted everybody mandated vaccines. He came out and said that. He was pushing for every kid to get the COVID vaccine. And we all know COVID-19, basically, if you look at the big picture, did not affect kids at all. I know somebody's going to call me and say that person got sick and that person died. I get it. But in the big percentage, we had when Barack Obama was president, this was back in 8 or 9 or 10, somewhere in that area, we had a big outbreak of a virus that was killing young people. And you know what they quit doing under Barack Obama? And what's that nut that we had at Dr. Fauci? Quack, quack. Quack, quack, and Obama decided not to do testing. Not to do all this testing. Why? Because they wanted the numbers to go down. If you're not testing for something, it's not being reported. What did we do with COVID? We tested on top of a test on top of a test. We found out that there were and Bell Edwards was just as guilty, but the media never wanted to look at it. They would test you, and you became a case. And if they tested you positive for COVID and 3 days later tested you positive for COVID, you were another case. And we also busted them down in these parishes because I had a bunch of these sheriffs and people to come on. The number of people that had COVID did not match up with the number of names they had. So they would go in a parish and say, we got 154 cases of COVID. And you'd go, tested positive. We don't know how many of them were double and triple tested positive. That was number one. And we never had a name for all the people that were tested positive. They were having 154 tested, but they have 82 names. And then when I busted this, because I did it, I had no help from Republicans, no help from the media. And Bell Edwards and them were peeing in their pants. So what they told the people that were heading this up, that if you give out these numbers, we're not going to be sending it to you anymore. Because they knew we had busted them. They were dead meat. And I had no help. I had no help from anybody. But I knew, because I had talked to about 20% of the people that headed this out of 64 parishes. Talked to 21 or 22. And they all said the names didn't match the numbers. Because the media, whatever Biden was saying, whatever Quack was saying, whatever Canner was saying, they did whatever they said. So when you see numbers like this, that has to do with COVID. The numbers are not up. If you go interview all these people that are backed out of the vaccine stuff, they're going to talk about COVID-19. But that's not what the media tells you. They put up this deal, oh my God, the experts are worried about herd immunity. Is that risk? And then you find out who was the experts. Okay? Children's Hospital in New Orleans, Ochsner's. It's a slippery slope. said Dr. Mark Klein. A high percentage of school children who are unvaccinated or not undervaccinated, the less the herd immunity. Folks, we're just talking about. It was 1%. They said it's a huge deal. It was COVID. Watch it go right back down to what it was. It's going to go right back down to what it was. All right, got to take a break. Rest of you leaving us, God bless. If you want to stick around, moongriffon.com. Listen live. Another hour to go.
For the absolute best in local Cajun food, check out Prejean's in their 2 locations in Carencro and Broussard today.